You guys get on fucking early. You guys do not mess around. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Alex here with another live stream. I think this is episode 9. What's up, everyone out there? Bitcha number 1 and bitcha number 2. Everyone's calling me a bitcha. I actually had a guy ask me, hey, where'd you come up with that bitcha? Like, how come everyone's a bitcha? Well, if you look up Joselito the Puppet on Facebook, it's basically a Puerto Rican guy who I think lives in southern Connecticut or New York. And he speaks through a puppet, like a ghetto Puerto Rican puppet, and he does like freestyle Fridays and shit, and it's pretty good. And he calls everyone bitcha and puti puerca, hit it from the back, stuff like that, and I love it. I want to get one of his shirts. That's like a King Bichotazo shirt. I'll see if I can pull it up. It's the best thing I've ever seen. Funny guy, and I think he does King Bichotazo t-shirt. I think it's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen, and I want it. Hell, even Obama had it. I'll look it up. There we go. Let me see if I can put the monitor on the screen. There we go. Perfect. If you guys look at the screen real quick, right there, Joselito the Puppet. He sells these shirts, King Bichotazo shirts. I think they're funny as hell. And if you go on Facebook, find him. He's on Instagram. Joselito the Puppet, and he's very ghetto. Like, the is D-A, like the puppet. I can't even like fake the fucking the way he talks, but it's good shit. So today's gonna be basically a Q&A, but I wanted to talk real quick about tuners holding the bag. Volume's kind of low. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get closer so you guys can get closer. Okay, let me turn up the volume. Sorry. Thanks for letting me know that, because I want to make sure you guys hear me okay. Can you hear me? Check 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Check. It is up, motherfucker. It's way up. Way up. I'll make sure that you guys can hear me okay. There we go. Now people are saying it's better. Now volume is too loud. Shut the fuck up. So basically, thank you. The sound is better. And again, sorry guys if this is a process. I was messing around with the mic all day and all this bullshit. So real quick, holding the bag. What that means is basically tuners like us are basically tuners like us are basically the ones that make manufacturers' parts work, because it seems that a lot of people that make parts don't properly test them, right? So I'll give you a real quick example. How many times have you seen a cold air manufacturer take a cold air and not do anything to the tune, not a goddamn thing, nothing, but just change the math data, not add a tune on top of the cold air, just the math data, stock tune, 6,800 RPM limiter, just the math data, then test it with the hood down. Wait about 10 minutes, let the IAT do its thing, and then do a test. Never. You've never seen that. So what happens? We end up getting stuck holding the bag. What that means is people say, wait a minute, the cold air manufacturer said plus 20 horsepower. I don't see it on the dyno. They did it. How come you don't do? Your tune sucks. And then it becomes a fight. Like, is the tuner the problem? Then I've actually heard manufacturers say some dumbass shit like, maybe they don't know how to tune a cold air intake. What the fuck is so hard about tuning a cold air intake, right? Math data, right? If the signal isn't a piece of shit and looks like a cardiac arrest, it should be pretty straightforward. But we get stuck holding the bag. So every single time a new part comes out, we have a collective, here we fucking go. So injectors, right? New injectors come out. Injector data is plopped into the tune and it sucks. And all of a sudden, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We can't go out there and publicly say the data sucks. So, we use data that works. We basically recommend other parts. And that's where people, especially Mustang owners are cheap as fuck. And they're the ones that are like, oh, this injector's a lot cheaper and I want to couple it with these cheap oil pump gears. Please, guys. Out of certain things that you don't want to cheap out on is injectors and oil pump gears. I would rather spend double the money on oil pump gears that have never failed than ones that have ever failed. But again, we end up holding the bag. Tuners end up holding the bag. Oh, this turbo kit made it 1,300 horsepower. How come you can't make 1,300 horsepower? Because it's floating the valves, and your valves are basically stuck open the whole fucking time, and you have back pressure city. But they didn't do that. Exactly, because every single time a new part comes out, it's up to tuners. Because who does all the testing? Who does all of the testing when a new part comes out? Not the parts manufacturer, never the parts manufacturer. It's always, always, always the tuners that make it work. So in my opinion, anytime anyone ever comes out with a part and they want it to work properly, they should contact the tuner before the part even comes out to market and test the shit out of it. I mean, like forever and ever and ever. And what happens? Then you have to pay, you got to pay us. Fuck yeah, you got to pay us. You got to say, hey man, I need a tuner that has all the access, all the data, all the shit. And then if you are willing to work with me to make sure this part is recommended, you know, like the stamp of approval, whoever the tuner is, you can call Lund, you can call whoever the fuck. I'm speaking in generalities. You know, then you can say it's been tested, vetted, the whole 9 yards, and it's legit as fuck. But that never happens. The first thing that happens is a part comes out, makes it out to market, and then it's up to the tuners to go figure it out, and then the manufacturer is never blamed for it. So I think holding the bag is and not your ball bag, but holding the bag in general, tuners is something that we do all the time. So every single time we see someone come up with a new throttle body, I go, here we fucking go. You know, that scene from Batman where the Joker goes, here we go. Here goes the blame game. Here goes the bullshit data. Here goes the blaming of the tune. Oh, those tuners don't know what the fuck they're doing. You got to go with this tuner. Then that tuner finally goes, dude, I'm going to just hack my way around this shit. And it works okay. So then they go, yeah, that tuner figured it out. Okay, then you look at the data and you're like, this is straight bullshit. So holding the bag is real tough, and I really wish parts manufacturers got a hold of tuners first, before even thinking of introducing or even putting anything out to market, especially throttle bodies and cold airs. People, I think, oh, I'm gonna just make it's gonna be fine, you know, make the 18th version of it, and then you're like, fuck, I gotta start all over again. Now, speaking of cold airs, PMAS literally 2 days ago came out with their race filter for the Whipple cars that has a shield around the back. Now, the 149 data is the same as always, but the problem has been with the race filter is a turbulent MAF signal. So I think they came out with a pretty neat idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I think the idea behind it is good. The race filter has always had issues with MAF wigginess and fan wash, depending on the location of the filter. They actually integrated a cover on the backside of the filter so that air can only come in through one area, which is where the sensor is located. And I think in theory, it's a very good idea. And I think that's why I prefer PMAS when it comes to, you know, data. They actually provide data, and it's actually pretty damn close. So I appreciate them coming out. And once I saw the cover, I said, badass. You know, they did a good job with that. Now, if another cold air manufacturer came out with something that I think was legit, I would shout it out. But as of now, there's a couple of manufacturers that I'd recommend and don't recommend, but that's not for this show to talk about. So let me real quick get on some of the questions. I just want to talk about holding the bag. Basically, tuners making shit work when manufacturers don't do their due diligence. And imagine Ford releasing a car and it's still needing calibration. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you sent it out and it drives like shit? Yeah, I get it. It's soft and their tunes are soft and they don't make power, but they're reliable. They drive pretty smooth, and it's really hard to beat the drivability of a stock Ford. So imagine if it came out of the factory and was bucking and pinging and, oh, just figure it out. Let the tuners figure it out. Fuck all that. Hopefully my coworkers are agreeing. Alexander Cadell says, low-key still waiting for the shirt to come in. Dude, relax. I mean, I shipped 3 shirts the other day and I fucking wanted to kill myself. The process is so stupid. Relax. I will get to everybody. I'm not giving anything away today. Fuck all that. It's just too much work. So Juan Slow 302 asks or says, is 20 pounds of boost sending it on rods and piston motor, manly rods and pistons, head studs, OPGs, and crank sprocket, Gen 1 twin turbo? Depends on the size of your turbos, right? Like 20 psi with a set of like 55s is different than a set of like 70s or 62s or whatever the fuck. But it's maybe not. I think 20 pounds of boost is healthy. You're probably going to make what? Close to freaking hell, like well into the 900 range. I think if you don't sleeve that motor, one slow 302, you're going to find the weak point real quick. But that being said, studded Gen 2 motors with regapped rings, aka AED, has made well over 1,000 until he actually heard it not too long ago. So you might be okay, but man, that Gen 1 motor, rods and pistons, I'd be leery of the sleeves, and that's probably the only thing that's gonna go as long as it was put together fine. Dip 2600 just gave me $10. I appreciate that, brother, for no reason. Matt Sopa, my guy with the Fusion. Matt Sopa has a Drift Fusion with a Gen 2 Coyote and a Gen 2 Coyote control pack. 2 tunes. 2. And it was done. He did a great job putting it together. Data log like a boss. Done. Out of there. I'm actually going to see if we can make it cam lope eventually, so I got to talk to Junior about that. But Matt Sopa asks, can you estimate horsepower based on the amount of air going through the MAF? Your experience or other data? Rear-wheel drive Fusion, running great, by the way. Awesome. Okay, so MAF pounds a minute is one of those things that a lot of people look at and they go, well, if it's making if it's flowing 42 pounds a minute, that's 420 rear-wheel horsepower. It's not that far off, honestly. It's actually pretty close, but the problem therein lies when you make big boy horsepower. You can make, based on throttle data and MAF readings, you can make a MAF pounds a minute peg, I think NA. Me and Junior talked about it because Ben Calamer was like, oh man, it makes 560 horsepower. It's like, motherfucker, your car's not making 560 horsepower. I love you. Well, the MAF pounds a minute said so. So I think Junior, made it peg, or he showed me a log where the car pegged like immediately. And the MAF pounds a minute has it just pegs at 860 or 86. So 86 pounds a minute, it pegs to nothing. So it does not go above that. So you can't really use that as a measuring device, but it's pretty close on lower horsepower NA vehicles. If you have a stock cold air, stock manifold, everything's pretty stock, but it's just a tune and the MAF is in the stock location. It's a pretty close description. Load is another thing. Like, you can fuck up load. A lot of people go, this thing's doing 1.1 load. Well, if your cold air sucks cocks and dicks, and we throw a bunch of fuel at it, the load calculation will be all fucked up. Or if someone fucked up and you didn't tell them you had 47-pound injectors and they jacked the MAF, that motherfucker's going to be 1.2 load. And you're, wow, this thing's flowing a ton of air. No, it's all fucked up. And then your spark is fucked because it's in another region and it's lower spark. How come it's not seeing 30 degrees? I want 38 degrees. Bearded Boss asked the question 2 weeks ago about water pump causing knock. Sure enough, replaced the pump and all knock is gone. 441 horsepower, 399 torque on long tubes, intake, and 18 manifold, 95 degree weather. Thanks for the insight. Okay, real interesting, Bearded Bros. So the water pump, I've seen some of the veins. Some of the veins, if you look at a water pump, if it's 6 vein or 4 vein or whatever the hell, when I worked as a pump, I was a millwright and I rebuilt pumps for a living. So if you want more pressure, you get a bigger impeller and more veins. If you want more volume, then you can cut the veins down, let more water get into the impeller, and it'll push more volume, less pressure. If you have a missing vein and cavitation is happening, that's a thing. Cavitation is basically the pump is sucking in more than it can push out. So you'll get basically water bubbles in a pressurized system, and that will cause cavitation, especially at high RPM, and that will cause false knock because it's literally under right where the knock sensors are kind of listening. And the knock sensors don't just go off of anything. They listen for a certain frequency. That's how Ford kind of dial that shit in. Okay. So I'm going to get the non-paid questions because, again, a lot of you guys think I'm just in it for the money. But honestly, this channel has become more of a live stream deal, and I'm okay with that because I don't have time to just pump out videos. It's really tough to... We've had a crazy busy week, like an insanely busy week. I wish Junior and Senior, if they're on right now, I'm on the work live stream or the work chat. Tell me the analytics that we had for tunes this month. It was mind-blowing. The amount of tunes we pumped out this month, it was crazy shit. So if they can hit me up on the on a chat, and then we could look at the analytics and let you know how many tunes we did in July, blow your mind. Chess Fordham says buy 16 Hellcat or 1950. Oh wow. Okay, Chess. The Hellcat is comfortable. It's a nice car. It's wide, it's big, and it's pretty quick. With a pulley E85 conversion, they're kind of hard to beat, man. Hellcats can get it, okay? I'm not one of those guys that's delusional and think it's a boat, it's no good. Those cars with a pulley E85 and a little bit of work, them shits get it. If you want comfort, you want something big, comfortable, and can go fast in a straight line, get a Hellcat, because I think it's a nice car, believe it or not. A 1950, it is a basically 12 to 1 compression, 15 to 17. You're not going to feel any different. If you get the 10R80, you'll have a great transmission, but if you add boost, you're going to need to build that transmission, at least put clutches in it. So it all depends on what you want to do. For my money, at this point in my life, okay, I have a 15 and I have a 15 and I have a 19. So honestly, I get the Hellcat at this point in my life. YOLO, so you were a pumper? Got it. Be lightning. David Santos says, rumor has it that the new GT500 has 800 horsepower at the crank. Confirm or deny? Until one gets on the dyno, I don't give a fuck what any fuckboy YouTuber says. They might, but it sounds a little high because of warranty reasons. That means it's probably making 760 at the tire. Now that is impressive, but you know, it's going to be a 10-second car. How deep into the 10s, we don't know. I don't want to guess yet, because remember the 99 Cobra? All right, that thing was advertised one way and it went the other way. And then you remember the 04 or 304 Cobra was advertised one way and it went the other way, made a bunch of horsepower. And then the 07 GT500 barely made like 430 wheel. And where's the 500 horsepower? I don't fucking know. And the way you spelled rumor like confuses me, David Santos. R-U-M-O-U-R. Isn't it R-U-M-O-R? Rumor? Rumor? Edwin Rodriguez. Alex, I have a 14 Mustang GT, stock motors, P springs. Wait, well, I want to make sure. I know what springs you got, bro. P springs, Ford Performance shock and struts, staggered tires. I'm debating if it should supercharge the car or trade in for 0709. My goal is 650 raw horsepower. What do you think? Well, Edwin, I think those springs suck, and if you get iBock Pro Kit, you'll reach your horsepower levels a lot easier. Why the fuck do you tell me the springs you got? I don't care what springs you have. You're talking horsepower, and then I mentioned springs. You know, okay, so in the tuning queue, we think it's kind of funny. I see some tuning requests. It's like, hey man, can you give me a tune for my car? Sure, what's sent to it? DSS drive shaft, fucking Febreze air freshener, MGW shifter, the race one, and a Can-Am cold air. I'm like, okay, so it's stock. It's stock, dude. Edwin, okay, I'm going to answer your question semi-seriously. 14 GT stock motor, or are you going to go to 0709 Shelby? Your 0709 Shelby will make 650 wheel easier than your 14, and it'll hold it easier than your 14 because it's a Gen 1 Coyote motor. Gen 1 Coyote motors are great, but at about 700 rear wheel horsepower, my butthole starts to pucker. And I start going, oh my God, this thing might blow up at any time. So GT500, if it makes 700, 750, 800 on E85. On pump gas, I'm okay with it making in the 7s, but I'm not okay with it making like 750 on pump gas. I don't care, boosting or not. Don't rely on fucking boosting to like be your saving grace. Every time I hear boosting, I want to just fucking jump out of a window, but I live in the first floor. So that won't do much. I just scratch my knee. So yeah, GT500. So the other thing that happened over the weekend, because the questions are coming in kind of light, the other thing that happened over the weekend is everyone was like, I can't believe YOLO's a Corvette guy now. What the fuck is wrong with you guys where you think that because I think the Corvette, the C8 Corvette that's coming out is decent, that you motherfuckers think I'm a fucking Corvette guy all of a sudden? When I said that the Demon was coming out and it ran a good number and I gave props to Dodge, no one said, oh, it looks like a Demon guy now. but once the C8 talk comes out, I started saying, hey, that on paper, it looks pretty good, and we'll see what happens when it gets out there. You guys went ape shit. And of course, YouTubers capitalized like, you're making a big mistake by buying a C8. Motherfucker, we don't know what it runs. We don't know what a GT500 runs. For all we know, the moment we put a tune on a GT500 and that transmission grenades, and there's a $20,000 transmission, that's what's going to determine really what's what. Like if the C8 comes out and it runs like an 1140, all right, or 1130, pretty close to stock, and a supercharged GT500 is a 10.7 car, you know what? I'm going to look at the complete package more so than the straight line. Now, the GT500 might surprise everybody. It might brake great. It might accelerate great. It might do everything great. We don't know. But on paper, the C8 is quicker than a Ford GT. So how could you not be into that? Bincha MT82 whining. Yeah, the MT82 whining is kind of normal. Mine whined forever. So at the end of the day, I just don't think it's a big issue. Once it starts rattling, then we start looking at them. Okay, so John Lund Jr. did get back to me as to how many tunes Lund Racing sent in July. Wow. So we had Brandon go on vacation for the 5th time. Junior, senior, the brass, the upper management went on vacation for last week, and we pumped out 2,000 guys, 2,000 tunes. So when you guys hit me up on Facebook and wonder why I don't get back to you right away, is because I'm pumping out like a quarter of those tunes, and then revisions, and then data log reviews, and then upcharges for E85. So 2,000 tunes in the month of July. That is astronomical, our highest month in history. Unbelievable. So a lot of people that say there's no way you could do that. Bullshit. Every day I'm responsible for at least 50 every day. So multiply that times Brandon, times Dakota. Junior does the higher profile stuff, and he does IT stuff on the backside, and Senior grabs the 3-valve junk, Cobra junk, and then crazy GT500 stuff. So believe it, we are busy as shit. So understand that, when it comes to volume, we kill it. We kill it. And it's just a great feeling being part of that, because, those people are going to be happy. Those people are going to come back for, supercharged deals or just change parts. So, the business is booming. So it's a real good feeling to have all that going on. All right, some people paid. So Dip2600 says, Alex, do you prefer the Hellion twin turbo sleeper street sleeper kit or the VMP supercharger? If so, why? Hellion seems to be killer for the Coyote engine. Look, you got to tell me what the hell you're going to use the car for. If you're going to use the car for street hoons once in a while, fucking around, the sleeper kit seems to be doing pretty damn well. It actually seems to be, sorry about the noise, I'm just trying to move the mic somewhere better. It actually seems to, it looks like I'm talking into my dick. Look at this. Nah, fuck that. That angle's not going to work. You guys will just have a field day with that, photoshopping dicks in there. So you'll Photoshop this into a dick. There we go. So I think that the twin turbo kit is badass. You have the ability to make big boy horsepower. Big boy. You can just turn up the wick and you're done. The problem in lies is if you have a manual car and you don't do that crazy street racing bullshit, you just kind of drive it. You want something that's quick, reliable, and just a good car overall. And it's really tough to beat a TVS, not necessarily a VMP. Okay, forget the whole VMP thing. Let's do a TVS, because I'm a fan of the 2650 rotor pack, whether it be in a Roush, a VMP, or an Edelbrock. Speaking of that, looks like VMP is going to finally release an 18 and up blower, which is a Magnuson blower. It looks like it's a Magnuson design because it mimics what they're putting into LT1 engines. I saw David Clunkerton from Vengeance Racing post up a Magnuson supercharger, and I'm like, yep, if that's what it's going to look like. It's same design as, it looks like an Edelbrock just with different ribbing, but it still has the same 2650 rotor pack from Eaton. So if it was up to me and I want to street hoon and do crazy shit and I'm not out there racing every 2 seconds, I'd get a TVS. If you want to be top dog and you do mostly rolls and it's a street car primarily, but you go out there and, race your boys and shit, I would look at a twin turbo setup. I just don't like the whole maintenance on twin turbo stuff. Just understand this. When you get a twin turbo setup, you will have more maintenance, period. And that's not a bad thing if the outcome is crazy power. John Lund in the house, thank you very much. Midlife Crisis Auto and Tech says 2016 GT with a PMAS, 18 ported intake, 47 pound injectors, manual with Lund tune. What RPM would you shift at? 7,500. Any single time people get a 2018 intake, they think their car automatically becomes this high revving Honda that you can shift at 9,800 RPM. And then when you look at the dyno graph, power falls off at 72, 7,300. So I tell people, shift at 7,500. But what are you talking about? The 18 manifold should rev forever. No, it should not. Neither does a Cobra Jet. Unless you have a cammed, insane ported, crazy shit Cobra Jet. Power is going to drop off barely even with a Cobra Jet, like 7,700. But a 18 manifold drops off a little earlier than that. So I tell people, shift at 7,500, because if you shift at 7,500, the next gear, it will be in a favorable spot in your power band. Okay, Yonsei50 says, YOLO, Gen 1 Nitrous 6R80 car, Circle D4C converter with 331 gears, gonna beat up on some grudge races. I love people that grudge race with a car that should not be grudge racing. I saw a guy say, hey man, I need more sauce. I'm like, oh yeah, what's done to your car? He goes, nothing. But I'm a grudge racer. I'm like, what? You're a grudge racer? You ain't got shit done to your car. Like, you ain't got shit done to your car. Juniors are listening in about me talking about 3-valve junk. It is. Look, 3-valves are at the point where they should all be Coyote swap. Luckily, some people are working on that, like a plug and play kit to be able to Coyote swap a 3-valve, because it's easy. The transmission works. Everything works. You can take your current bullshit, put a Coyote in it, manual, not auto, and it just works. So if you Coyote swap a 3-valve, it's gonna be easier once Power by the Hour gets everything squared away. I think it'll be a nice kit to just be able to get the fucking 3-valve out of the market, get that shit out of our face as if it never was invented, get it out of here. Coyote swap everything. It's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And I mean, you guys are cheap. You guys are fucking cheap. So that's what you want. So it's coming. Lund Racing's in the house. Carlos Figueroa, minimal gain. Good. They're answering questions on the chat. Beautiful. I can concentrate on other shit. Marlon Galindo says, Alex, you skipped me. Sorry. Let me look you up, Marlon. Marlon Galindo. Well, Midlife Crisis, John Lund, Dip 26. There you go, Marlon. Thank you for the $10. And his question was, 15 GT made 445 rear wheel horsepower on CJ headers, 91 octane. When E85 made the same. Ported the CJ intake. The same horsepower. Any ideas? What could be going on? Dump the car and make 460? Weird. Dump the car and made 460. Weird. Car has gone 11.9, 112. I'd have to look at the data log. If we're tuning it, Marlon, I don't think any... is it manual or is it auto? Auto, that's about right. Ben Calamer's... he had a red 2016 Mustang, and that car made barely 450 rear wheel horsepower on E85 with a Cobra Jet intake, and it went 1080. So, forget the horsepower, because a lot of the guys sometimes use a loaded dyno. Sometimes you are in a dyno that has the stack somewhere cold, because if the stack is cold, it makes less power. If the stack is hot as fucking muggy, it makes all the power on the planet. Trust me, I've tested it. I might make a video about it, but it'll just piss off every dyno tuner on the planet, so I gotta pick and choose my battles. But Marlon, what did the car run? Oh no, you did. You said it did run 11.9, 112. That's slow as fuck. But do you have a converter? It sounds like it's an auto. So if you have a stock converter, stock gears on E85, that bitch is not gonna do a goddamn thing until you hit fucking 6,800 RPM. Then it starts to sing. By that time, your 60 foot's 2.0 or 1.9. So honestly, if you get a CJ, you got to make moves on that car to make the CJ work. What does that mean? That means converter, gears, maybe cams, because you got to move the power band up. Oh, I just bolted it on. It should make another 800 horsepower. It'll make it at a different spot, but maybe not peak. Clint Albert asks, what injectors would you recommend that have good data with HP tuners for Coyote? Thanks. Currently with LU47. Anything Ford Racing that aren't 80s. So Ford Racing MU52s, Ford Racing LU47s, anything from Injector Dynamics. Period. Anything. A 725, a 1000, fucking anything. But that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest issue we come across, the data, right? We as tuners are not going to go ahead and start shoving injector dynamics data in other injectors and think it's okay, because at that point we're just kind of negating the data that the injector manufacturer is giving us, and we're just going with data that works. So a lot of people say, well, this company tunes these injectors. How come you guys don't? Because your data sucks. So we got to make sure your data is legit, because let's say if I'm using, Bobo injector number 1, but I'm using ID data in it, well, the injector's fine, but the data sucks. So what are we doing? What are we doing here? Do we have to do, again, holding the fucking bag? Do we then tell the company, hey, your data's Bobo shit. What are we going to do? And they're like, what do you mean it's Bobo shit? I'm like, well, it's junk. Well, can we fix it? Well, that it's your injector. What that? Get better data. So we recommend what we recommend. Any single time people say, Alex, what injector do you recommend on my car? I say an LU47 if it's NA, an ME52. Even if it's NA, you can go up to a 1050X if it's naturally aspirated, okay? Just because it's a bigger injector doesn't mean it's all of a sudden going to flood your engine, okay? It's only going to use what it needs. The pulse width will be proper for the needs of the engine. No, but bigger injector, more fuel. No, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Whoever told you that needs to shut up. But I really think that people need to understand that the best data out there is OEM data and injector dynamics data, and anyone else. DTWorks 95 has good data. FIC 1000H has really good data, but anything else that I mentioned, I'm just not going to co-sign on. That's all. Sorry. Reese just put up a money sign, so I don't know what that means. Yonsen 50, any goofy tuning on with 1320 junkie ported 18 manifold NA cars? Dick slap. So Yonsei 50, anytime you port anything. So let's say, for instance, I dialed in your MAF curve. Let's say it's a PMAS, a Stida, a Roush MAF curve. You're never going to use the point where it's like 9 hertz or something. It's up there. You're flowing a lot of air, or 10. So we make sure the MAF curve is done all the way through the frequency range in terms of fueling. So the moment you put a ported intake on, it doesn't mean we have to redo the MAF curve. We just have to account, the MAF sensor is going to account for the additional air. It might hit another cell or two. It's a good idea to log it, but it doesn't necessarily mean, you're getting an intake ported? Well, here you go. You need this tune. It won't even run right without this tune. No, it'll run right. We just want you to log it, send in the log to make sure that it doesn't need fueling tweaks up top. Let's say it sees a little bit more airflow up top, and then the car, it needs fucking 3%, 4% fuel up in that extra cell. We'll give it to it, say, here you go, and then confirm it with another log, and we send you on your way. But 9 times out of 10, something like a PMAS, which they give you the data, is going to be legit, and I won't have to do anything. The only thing I've noticed on PMAS's tunes is when the car is idling really low at low frequencies, seems to need a touch of fuel down low. That's it. But everything else is pretty legit on that car. Alexander Cadell, back at it. I have an air raid cold air intake installed, and it's causing approximately a 15% lean condition. Check the install, and got better after sending a log to Brandon. Want to go back to stock cold air intake. Would an 18-19 stock cold air intake yield any gains? Alexander Cadell, if you have a 15 to 17 Mustang, a 18 and up intake is probably the intake I recommend the most. Now, this is me, not anyone else, not the company I work for, me. Why? Because that's what I did on my 2015 Mustang. I put a 2018 cold air in it. I think it's 104 millimeter closed air box OEM data. And guess what? It is perfection. It idles at 0.910 fuel trims, wide open throttle. It's like within 2%. It's so legit, and it is OEM data, closed, lowest IAT in Florida weather. You will not see it get over 110. Maybe if you're idling in front of a hot car with hot exhaust, it might get high, but honestly, I love it. Now, anything with an open air element, it's going to have higher IAT in the summer, but in the winter, believe it or not, and it's colder, and it's anything under 90 degrees, this thing's gonna move because it has open air elements sucking in a bunch of cold air. So if you want to do anything, like the most recommended intake, I would say for 15 to 17 Mustangs that are very mildly modified, if anything, just a tune, a stock 18 cold air. Get them out there. They'll probably give it to you for $50, and it'll actually yield more power. I can make a test doing that, but god damn it, it's just unbolting and bolting shit on nonstop, and it's just like getting old. But I can do that test. I have a stock 15 cold air in the trunk of the car. I'll put it on, go wide open throttle, then change the data over, And again, give it like 30 degrees of timing, 31 degrees of timing, and then it should be a pretty good back-to-back test. How many people will watch it? Maybe 3, but maybe those 3 people will, buy tunes from Lund Racing. Zach H, why is a stock LS1 F Body C5 a driver's race with a Gen 1 Coyote? So a lighter car with a bigger motor is a driver's race with a heavier car and a smaller motor. Interesting. I mean, you really? Oh, it's an LS1 F Body, right? So it's light. It's a what, a 5.7 or 6.0, or is it a 5.3? I don't fucking know. It's LS bullshit. LS and all their fucking alphabet. I love how LSs have 80 different variations, and the Coyote's just a Coyote. That's it. It's like Coyote, just Gen 1, 2, 3. Same displacement, maybe different cams, different heads. That's it. Oh, LS48, 427X. Fuck my ass. Producer Jay says, need to know my limits. 2016 Whipple Gen 3 Stage 2, now with 1000cc, 3.5 pulley, JMS BAP, with 104 on 104 with full exhaust. Going 4 triple pump on E85 this week. What size pulley can I go down on stock block and aftermarket head studs and after head studs? So what I would do on that car, I mean, a 3.5 pulley is pretty aggressive. I'd keep it on a 3.5 pulley and see what kind of power the thing makes on the 85, because you'll probably be able to get away with more timing. You'll probably get away with 21 degrees, 22 degrees or something like that, depending on who's tuning you. And if the car's happy and it's making like 850, I'd keep it there, But if you were like, oh, I want to pulley down and make 1,000, okay, well, remember, anything over 800, 850 on any engine, Gen 1, 2, 3, well, Gen 2 and up, I start to worry. So just, understand that it's not like a simple formula where you're like, you can use this pulley with this fuel, with this inject. No, we got to see what the car makes on what pulley. Every car is a little different. Okay, so Cuban Coyote says, hey, Alex, what's up, man? What's up with my knock sensors? I don't know what it is. Thanks for the tunes. Now we have to retune everything. LOL. Who's faster, me or Matt760? No need to say my mods. Many people see this. I think Matt's out there gapping a lot of people. And honestly, I'd love to tell you that there's some secret bullshit in there. I'm not going to tell you if there's secret shit or not. Honestly, Cuban Coyote, your car's pretty quick. His car's pretty quick too. I know your mods. I think his car's a little quicker, honestly. But I'm not going to tell people your mods, but your car has the ability to be quicker than his based on your mods. But I think, motor to motor, I think he's got you covered. Indie Boost, thanks for Friday. We'll get you the 4th gear log soon. Oh, Indie Boost, was I the guy that stayed a little later? Maybe. I think I stayed like till 5:30 or something to get him taken care of. I think he has an Armageddon twin car. I think. I'm not 100%. He says, thanks for Friday. I will get you the 4th gear log soon. Can you believe I jumped off the drum for a new Civic Type R because Motec was there to log new head data and piece of shit barely made 400? Oh, yeah, you're the Paxton guy. You're a Paxton. Yeah. You told me there was a little drama with your tuner. I'm sorry about that. But hey, I told you, 90% of the shit you can do on the street. Okay, guys, real quick, let's talk about this because I've answered some questions here. A lot of people are like, hey, I got my base tune. I'm ready for the dyno. No, you're not. No, you're not. You are not ready for the dyno after a base tune. What you need to do is log idle, log slow rev, log everything. And then once we see that some partial watt data, wide open throttle, watt, is good, up to about 7,000 RPM, then we could say, brother, get on the dyno, because I bet you that bitch is going to be done in 2 pulls, because you can do 90% of the work on the street. The quickest, fastest cars we tune on the planet, well, I shouldn't say on the planet, the Blue Goose has been on the dyno, but before that, most cars weren't even getting on the dyno. They would just go up to about, 16 pounds of boost, 15 pounds of boost, if it's twin turbo, and then do the rest of the tuning at the track. Sorry, I don't mean to, snort in the mic. Sean O'Connell says, thanks for the tune today, Alex. Car's running great, but blew the dipstick out during the watt pull. Breather or catch cans? What do you suggest? Okay, catch cans, you're going to have less of a chance of some oil smell. Breathers, you might get some oil in the engine bay because it's going to squirt out of there. So I would do a catch can to keep it all nice and tidy. Don Self, Alex, would staying capped at 18 degrees and pulling down a quarter inch to 10 or 11 pounds versus stay the same pulling 9 pounds and unleash the timing? 93 pump cast, safest way to get a little more. Thanks. So I'd keep the boost where it's at and see how much we can get away with on timing. The problem is if you do more boost, less timing, it's just I don't want to be at the ragged edge. I'd rather see more timing and less boost. Like on my car, when I get the, by the way, Vortec did notify us that the supercharger ton is way back from being converted to a self-contained unit because I had an older JT that needed to have an oil line, and Senior and I got together and we're like, yeah, no, let's send it back and let's do a self-contained deal. So that should be back soon. Anyway, that'll get low boost and high timing because I'd rather throw a little timing at the car than a bunch of boost and be real soft on timing and then be at the ragged edge and have the knock sensors kick it back a bunch. So that's the way I like to do it. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, so hopefully I got everybody here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Wow, everyone's I love that. Brett McKinney says Fat House Fab, who, by the way, built a pretty badass GT350. I gotta give them props. I don't mention a lot of shops for many reasons, but Fat House Fab, I haven't had any issues with them. They're actually good guys and seem to be good fabricators. They had a fully built, I'm saying to the hilt, everything, built motor, built trans, Motec, like aftermarket tuning system. But this stick shift car went 8.6 at like 163 or something. It is getting a ton of play, and I'm really proud of them that a stick shift car is representing for all you auto fuckboys that don't know shit about racing that are like, well, of course it went 860s. I'm like, look, you ride and you auto guys ride in a car that goes 8s or 7s. Those guys drove that fucking car. So there's the difference. Okay, I'm always gonna be a stick guy. Don't get me wrong. Some auto cars are flying, but when a stick shift GT350 with IRS, and yeah, it's got a lot of money into it. I get it. It's got a ton of dough into it, but who gives a fuck, right? It went 860 at 163 stick man shit, and I think he drove it there. So I think that's cool because look, plain and simply, when you see a stick car do shit like that, it's just more impressive. Everyone sees a car get on the brake and release their trans brake button, and you're like, oh, boring. Yeah, it's fast, but it's boring as fuck. The only time it's fast is when it's like RVW or X275 cars. Rami Zaidan says, it's a process before going on the dyno. The best thing about Rami Zaidan is this. He lives in Puerto Rico, so there aren't exactly a bunch of straightaways everywhere. So those guys, he logs idles, low rev, and watt, and then he goes, Alex, dyno ready? Dyno ready. The next morning, he's on the fucking dyno at 9 o'clock, like on the money, sends me a log, and we're done within 3 pulls. Done. By the way, Rami Zaidan, I got to give him a shout out because he took a car from Puerto Rico to the Dominican Republic. Now, that's not a lot of people are like, oh, I don't get it. It's another island. It's another fucking nation. So he got a Hellion top mount, regular conventional setup, not a sleeper, stock motor car with a built 6R80. He brought it over to Dominican Republic to do a half-mile race. It went 180. Now, it did have a couple of misfires and stuff like that, so we were working through some bugs, but it went 180 mile an hour, which is the second quickest of his class and the fastest Mustang in that whole event. There was, believe it or not, a bunch of Lund tuned cars in the Dominican Republic representing also. I thought that was very cool. So congratulations, Rami Zaidan. 2 years ago, Rami was working on cars in like the side garage of like his, they called it the Marquesina, the little side patio of like a house in Puerto Rico, and all of a sudden he's got a shop building some of the quickest, fastest cars in Puerto Rico and in the Dominican Republic. I think that's very cool. Okay, so keep going. See comment above, Zach H. Sorry, Zach, let me go back and find you. Zach H. 1999 LS1 makes 320 horsepower and is 3,300 pounds. 14 GT makes 420 and weighs 3,400 pounds. Bullshit, it weighs 3,400 pounds. Bullshit. I'm telling you. Okay, so let's do this. Zach H. A Fox body. A 1990 notch with, let's say, rockers, throttle body, pulley, and off-road exhaust. It's in a tire. Put it up against an LS1 Fox body. Or LS1 F body, the catfish. Do you think it's a driver's race? Zach, do you think it's a driver's race, a 90 Fox body with like pulleys, a throttle body, and rockers, which is like, what, $400, and an exhaust and a tire, versus a, LS1 F body? Look, it's weight, okay? I don't know of any 14 Mustang GT that has, let's say the LS1 F Body is bone stock, bone stock, and the 14 Mustang GT is bone stock. There's no fucking way it's a driver's race. There's no fucking way. If both have a tire, there's no fucking way, unless the F Body weighs a lot less. Just looking at those two things is the Mustang is up 100 horse and 100 pounds. There's no fucking way on the planet that's a driver's race unless you got some bobo shit ass drivers doing that thing. But let's take it to the next level, Zach. Put boost in the Mustang. Put 10 pounds of boost. Nothing else. Pump gas, a boost to pump, 10 pounds of boost versus 10 pounds of boost in the LS1 F Body. And then you tell me who gets what? Like, who gets the gap band played on them nonstop? Then let's move up to E85. And I'm saying on the LS1 F Body, no cams. Just like you're not doing cams on the Coyote. No cams on the Coyote. All I'm saying is boost only. Boost only. You tell me where we're at, okay? Zach. Get that shit gapped. Well, my neighbors must think I'm fucking psycho. So, shake it, bake it, booty quake it. Hey, that's Bandy says that. Hey, Alex, ever seen a GT350 heads on an application, NA or boosted, Gen 1, Gen 2 Coyote? What did you think of it? Okay, the VMP car, the Rebecca's car, the black car, had GT350 heads. And honestly, I don't think there's a benefit to it. I mean, there's power benefit, but I think there's also a head gasket issue where there's not as much area in a GT350 head to allow for proper sealing when it comes to boost than like a Gen 2 Coyote head. But yeah, I've seen a couple of cars with 350 heads, that car being one of them, but it didn't like wow me. I think a Gen 2 head would be just as good, just a regular ass Gen 2 head. I'm waiting for Zach to tell me about that 10 pounds of boost deal, and how is a car with 100 more horse and 100 pounds heavier a driver's race? The fuck out of here. Awaken Evil says you missed my question. God damn it. All right, relax. Let me get Jose de Luna real quick. I don't have E85 where I'm at, and I'm stuck with a 93. Off the top of your head, what positive displacement, blower, setup, and injectors would you recommend I can make the most out of my setup, fuel, and available to me? Okay, PD, believe it or not, on Gen 2, the blower that makes the most horsepower on pump gas, again, that's the caveat, on pump, we're sticking to pump gas, okay? The blower that makes the most horsepower that I have experienced on pump gas is the Whipple Gen 3. On pump gas, motherfuckers. The Whipple Gen 3 can make in the high 600s on pump gas, Jose. So if you're stuck on 93 and you have a Gen 2, you can make high 600 horsepower with, I think, a 3.8 pulley on a Gen 3 Whipple setup with a 132 throttle body and their big 123 millimeter cold air. So if it's off of all of those, that's good. Now, people would say, what about the Edelbrock? I haven't seen enough data yet, but I have seen a ton of data on the Whipple, and it seems to make good horsepower on 93. Now, E85, dude, I'm doing a TVS all day. And I think I forgot a guy's question, so Awaken Evil. Ask my question, please. Awaken Evil says, ask my question, please. I'm looking. He says, ask my question, please. Cuban Coyote. That's the problem. This chat flies, so it's not easy. I don't see Awaken Evil anywhere, bro. Indie Boost, Cuban Coyote again. Here you go. What do you think about my Gen 5 Whipple GT350? We'll make on pump gas when you guys at Lund do the tuning. HPJ is doing my install. Gen 5 Whipple GT350. That's badass. So I think the Gen 5 Whipple on pump gas is going to make pretty much what a Gen 3 does, because your limiting factor is going to be pump gas. You have if you're on pump gas and you're up a point of compression on regular Coyotes, Awaken Evil, I think you're going to be limited to the quality. Now, HPJ, their install is badass. Michael Bibis, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. has been a great data logger, and he's really easy to work with. And Michael Salah Halabim, whatever his name is, I love him, so I don't know his name. They're great guys, and I think you're going to be in the 700s. How much into the 700s? It all depends on how sweet the fuel is up there. Now, it might be really sweet, I don't know, but it should be well into the 700s. I know what you're going to say, but I saw this other tuner make 800 on pump gas. Okay, if you're willing to roll the dice and I'll shut off your knock sensors and you put a can of butane in that motherfucker and you want to go for a power number, great. If you want that fucker to last more than a week, I'd aim in the 700 range. Awaken Evil. And thanks for the money. So, let me see. Someone else, Jose de Luna, and... Oh, okay. He paid another 20? Dude, you guys are crazy. I mean, I appreciate it, but you guys are nuts. Jose de Luna says, my car's a 2015 5.0 manual. Sorry. Yeah, a Whipple Gen 3, if you are stuck on pump gas, I have to fucking say it 15 times, I think will make more power on pump gas. Because the power curve is almost like a centrifugal, right? The rotor pack, I guess the design doesn't hit that hard down low, but then when it revs out, it makes really good power. And the displacement of the supercharger is 3 liters, so it's going to make more up top, and it seems to be real happy. It won't hit as hard down low as a TVS, not even close, but it makes more quote-unquote horsepower on pump gas, close to 700. Alexander Cadell, again, says, really appreciate the great info. Fangirled a little when you liked my Ghost Cam Idol on Facebook. Exhaust with stock manifolds and cats. Wow, really? That's pretty good. 19 Ford Performance. That sounded good, Alexander Cadell. That, like the Ghost Cam stuff, a lot of people, I've literally said have people tell me, hey, dude, I want just a Ghost Cam tune. I'm like, no, that you don't understand how it works. That is a free add-on that we do not adjust. Oh, I don't care. I want it. So whether a lot of people think it's gay or not, they want it. And depending on the exhaust setup, I had a guy with an 18 Mustang today say, hey, this Ghost Cam tune does not sound good. I'm like, yeah, you got an 18. It's a different cam profile. It's not going to go ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Some people want it to be like an LS, which is we can't make it do that like on purpose. And it's highly dependent on your exhaust. So if anything, it'll be like a night out at Taco Bell, you know. If I can make an exhaust do that, I'm in. That'd be great. Ah, shit. That's good stuff. To imagine you show up to the show and you're like, oh my God, did you see this new tune I got from Lund Racing? No, let me hear it. Check it out. And you turn the car on. Oh, sick. Sounds like shit. Okay. Cat Crescent says, what would you suggest someone like me who knows nothing about tuning to learn how to tune? Cat Crescent. You know what's funny? Me and Junior, the taco tune. That is good, the taco tune. Like the mild salsa tune. Shit in your pants tune. S-U-P. The S-U-P tune. Shit your pants. S-Y-P. So learning about tuning is tough, right? You have a lot of people out there advertising tuning schools. Now, I'm never going to... I got to be so careful. Okay. When Junior and again, I am no teacher. I just happen to be able to relay the information pretty well to people. I think if you befriend a tuner that is known to do good shit with Coyote cars or just tuning in general, I think that'll at least give you an example or at least a slight roadmap as to what it takes. Okay, when I got into tuning, oh God, I hate that I have to filter some. One of these days I'll be able to tell you my story, and that's going to be so fun, but I'll be vague. When I got into tuning, I was supposed to have been taught tuning by someone, and that person dropped the ball. So what I did is, because I wanted to keep my job, I knew that if I didn't start producing, that my job could be in jeopardy. And I wanted to, look, I'm a worker, man. I'm from the Northeast, man. We work. We just, whether we're good at it or not, we work. Florida, they don't want to work here. There's some fucking lazy motherfuckers down here. So once that person wasn't in the picture anymore that was supposed to be training me, I stayed up every fucking night. Every night, dude, every night. looking at the software and hoping I would get that aha moment. Like, oh my God, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I'm fucked. So once that went away the first time, I was mad. I was like, well, this is bullshit. And then that's when I went to VMP, and I did know a decent amount. I did know a decent amount from what I just looked at in the data, but that's where I think I started to really kind of latch on, and kind of based on just doing it wrong. Donnie Renfro helped me out so much learning 6R80 tuning. It's just one of those things where I think you have to do it a lot to get it, and after a year later, you're still going to be in the weeds on shit. I think you have to befriend a tuner. Now, I'm not going to tell you to not spend money on tuning schools. Unfortunately, I'd love to take one of those Coyote tuning classes and sit there and see what they're teaching people and how much they're charging. Because if it's a fleece job, I'm going to fucking, I'm not trying to fuck people up with their money. But if they're telling you like the basic operations of a 6R80, but not actually showing you how to tune it and what it does and this and this and that, because when Junior gets on, he gives us periodic training. Dakota and Brandon, we all get on a chat, and today we got VCT training, and it was like, it was hurting my head, but it was so good. It was so good. And I know they're not getting that. In any school environment. So it's tough to tell you exactly where to go, but something is better than nothing. So that's the best I could do. Where's Zach? Zach said, check the comment above. Zach, talking shit about LS. It's the fuck out of here. Zach, where are you? Because I want to talk some shit on LS shit. Because you motherfuckers need a cam to do anything with that shit. G-Unit Silk City in the house. G-Unit Silk City. The fuck, I don't know, dude. It gets so lost. I'm sorry, Zach. It just gets so lost in the fray. What do you think of the DOB Department of Boost kit? Okay, Jason Fry says, Alex, what do you think about the Department of Boost kit for GT500 S197? I have a 2014. Have you ever tuned one? Yes, they tune just like a fucking anything, any blown Coyote. Just don't get the stock blower. The stock blower sucks dicks. Just get a TVS, whether it's a Trinity TVS or a VMP or a Roush. Don't waste your money on the stock blower. It barely makes like $550. Dude, Zach, I don't know where you're at, man. I'm sorry. I think you just got skipped, man. Fuck, I'm looking. Zach. I'm just wasting time here. Dorian Felton, bitcha. Maybe a stupid question, but would you recommend a return style fuel setup on an NA build in preparation for a supercharger, or wait to get the supercharger and have it done at the same time? Honestly, I have a return style setup in my Mustang, the red one, and it's NA right now. And all I do is set the regulator 55 PSI and ride the fuck out. No boost reference. Nickel White says, thanks for the tune today, Alex. I'm sure I got Matt 60 covered in a manual car. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, guys. Nickel White will gap the shit out of any NA S550. I will put my money on Nickel White. Hey, Timothy Anders from fucking Australia, get at your boy Nickel White, and I'd love to see that race. Nickel White not only can fucking drive, he's got that bitch set up. So when it comes to NA S550s, I got my money on Nickel White. If it was a grudge race, I'd be like, you got 20 on him? I got 100. 20 on 100. 20 on 100. Rob Gabrieski says, at Lund Racing, any dealers you recommend in your area? Okay, they're talking dealer stuff, so we're good. Okay, some Canadian gave me $5, which is like $1. Don't you guys, isn't that Trudeau, dude, fucking up your country so bad? You want to get him out of there? Trudeau. Roto12 says, hey man, what's the word number-wise on an NA 18GT 6-speed with a CJ PMS, long tubes, etc. on 91? Not trying to click 550 wheel, just looking for a fun street car. Dude, just stay with the fucking stock intake at that point if you're on 91, because that's going to be your limiting factor, 91. Okay, stay on the stock intake. But if you're just like dead nuts fucking, oh yeah, I mean, on 91, 460, maybe, if you're lucky, maybe. That's like super optimistic. It's Josh for show says, thanks for all the helpful info you share with everyone. Still waiting for the next Ricer flyby video. Yeah, I've had a couple. I just haven't caught them in time. Look, this season in Florida, from I would say May to late September, is our winter. We do not race. It literally thundered and lightning did forever here, and it was cool to watch, but not cool to run in. So I'm gonna wait. Once the rain stops, then I'll get after it. But until then, it's basically our winter. We just kind of, go out in the morning when it's still warm and sunny, and then about 4 o'clock, the clouds start to come in, and between 4 and 7 you get this nasty rainstorm, and it goes away at 8 and it's muggy. So that's basically it in repeat here. Lund Racing says I'm out. Bye, see you later. Bedtime. Andy Kozovic says, Alex, how much do you think your old Gen 3 will make with L&M intake cams, a 69 pulley, juniors tuning it on 85 with a twin 67, PMAS, fuel system, ARH long 2 headers, 69mm pulley, stock lower, cams? If it's a manual, you probably make close to $1,000. Close to $1,000. If everything works properly. If it's an auto, shit. High 800s, low 900s. I had a 15% lower. That's the only reason I say that kind of number. Chris Arnold says, why are they whining about LS1s? They don't even replace the Fox body at the strip. Divyesh Patel. Is Lund able to tune Magna-Ride suspension? No. That is all body control module shit. We don't have any parameters that have anything to do with the suspension or the body control module itself. Basically, the suspension is, adjustable per your fucking, your likes. Just hit a couple buttons on the deal. But in terms of tuning, no, we don't have any way of manipulating the Magna-Ride at all. Just wanted to get your thoughts on keeping the Magna-Ride or change it over to aftermarket shocks. Depends on what you want to do. It depends on what you want to fucking do. Do you want a road race? Keep the Magna-Ride. Do you want a great ride and adjustable stiffness? Like this dick? Keep it. If you want a dedicated static setup that's never going to change ever, change it. It's not that hard, guys. Guys, some of these questions you can answer. I really hope Australia changes its monetary system to dollary dues. That's very good. That is from PGT MR2. Dollary dues. Can I get, how much is this Coke? $1.5 dollary dues. Fuck. Cunt. Jesus Christ. Rafa Lemus says, Alex, answer my question. Motherfucker, if you didn't pay, if it's not big and green, I'm not going to see it, so I'll look. Ignite Garage, I already said that. Oh, wait. Okay. Ignite Garage says 2016 GT Whipple Gen 3 boiler 1 Gen 3/4 long tubes. Why'd you get inch and 3/4 long tubes, guys? Always get inch and 7/8 long tubes. Always. I don't give a fuck. Inch and 7/8. Don't waste your money on inch and 3/4. Why? Trust me, the inch and 7/8 are not going to hurt the car. Anyway, his question was 2016 GT Whipple Gen 3 Borla inch and 3/4 long tubes. Should I go inch and 7/8? Oh, I already answered his question. I basically just answered his question. Ignite Garage inch and 7/8, brother. Okay, let me see who questioned. Oh, look, there's actually, you know what? There's a tab down here. I didn't even notice that. It just shows the paid questions. Where's your special friend today? Christian or Christian's girlfriend? They're at home. Oh, the girl. Yeah, they're at home. She doesn't like the attention. That's what makes her nice. She's not looking up for attention. Ignite Garage, RODO, 6 speed. Zach says comment above. Jason Biasi. Oh, good. Thank you. He actually pronounced his name in the question. Bicey. Jason Bicey. That doesn't make any sense based on the spelling. Looking for a Whipple for my Gen 2 car. Should I consider the Gen 5 or no 85 available? Just good 93. No, just get the Gen 3. Gen 3 is more than enough on pump gas. Okay, Nickel, Jose de Luna, Awaken Evil, Jose de Luna. Okay, Rafael Limas gave me $5, but I don't see a question attached to it. Rafael. I'll look for you, though. I got you. Don't you worry. I'll get you. Bejo. Poor boy. How is Hush Money coming along? Okay, Hush Money. It's a saga. The exhaust is on. The fan works. The intercooler pump works. And I put a tune in it. So tomorrow I'm going to bring a different filter because the race filter is not happy with the fan wash. So I'm going to put the regular filter on it. I'm going to do some idle and slow revs. And if it's dyno ready, I'm dynoing it this weekend and getting you video. Chad Thunderglock says, got my YDB t-shirt fully bolted on. Thanks. Slow Yodi says, 2012 Gen 1 Paxton Novi 3.3 E85 full bolt on MMR OPGs, 5,500 feet as a daily. What are your thoughts on how long you think it'll last? At 5,500 feet, it's probably normal. It's not gonna hurt it. 5,500 feet, that's a lot. So you're probably seeing like 11, 12 psi total on that 3.3 pulley. As long as the fuel is good and sweet, you should be okay. But I'm telling you, don't drive that bitch to sea level and go watch. It'll blow up. Blow up in a heartbeat. Oh, shit. Okay, so Raphael, I didn't see anything else going on here, so sorry about that. I didn't see it posted up, so I didn't see your question. I apologize. Cat Crescent says, thanks, Alex. I suck at math and work part-time and spend at a speed shop, and we work on late model LS cars. I'm so sorry you work on slow cars. I want to get into Coyote tuning because I'm thinking of getting one in the future. Late model LS cars are pretty good. LS3 and up, bullshit. The LT, I don't know enough about it because I don't care, but I think the LT is coming along. It took a while because of the direct injection, I think. But yeah, man, I suck at math. I'm gonna tell you, I suck at math, and apparently I'm dyslexic when it comes to numbers. I put if it's like order 89889, you're guaranteed to get the wrong fucking number sent to you. But at the end of the day, I think it's the ability to visualize what an engine is doing inside your head. So one time I saw or I heard, again, this was early in my tuning career, someone said, hey, Alex, this car is stumbling when I initially give it gas. And I'm like, really? So I looked at the log and I'm like, it's not fueling fucked up. It's pretty good. So I thought to myself, you know what I would do in a carbureted situation? I would up the squirter size. You know, when you rev and you look down at a carburetor, these two little squirters in the beginning of the, the primary and secondary, you can adjust them with a spring and make it really, really snappy and make sure there's no delay with the fuel coming out. So I said, I wonder in the tune, what do I have to do to bring the squirter size up? And it was manifold volume. And someone said, manifold volume? I said, interesting. So I jacked up manifold volume a little bit and it helped. This was a GT500 actually. It was a GT500. And then I said, you know what? Let me go into the speed density and just hack my way around that shit. I went into the speed density and hacked my way around that shit. And voila. He goes, oh my God, it's gone. I'm like, interesting. So it's about visualizing what the engine is doing. Now it gets complex once you figure out that both cams can move independent of each other. Okay, that means I can phase the intake cam differently than the exhaust up to 60 degrees, one way or the other, depending on, and then 15 and up has a mid-lock intake cam, meaning it's in the middle. So it'll idle at 30 and you can go 0 and negative. So yeah, once you can visualize what's happening, I think it makes it easier. And I think people that have a good understanding of how an engine works have a leg up as to tuning one. Okay, let me go down here. Diego Arroyo says, Gen 2 Coyote, Roush catback, cold air intake. What's the process for data logging? Communicate back and forth for email tunes? Like, how does the logging work? So, Diego, I'm going to try to explain it as simply as I could. So, if you have an N-Gauge, we can send you a configuration file. A configuration file is parameters that we want to see. We want to see and make sure that they're actually working properly. So, at the end of the day, what we do is we say, we know where the car should be and what it should be doing based on your modification. So we explain to you, you need to get us an idle, a slow rev, and a slow rev, and maybe a wide open throttle pull. And then based on what we are commanding and what we're seeing back, we'll say, hey, it needs an adjustment, or it's right on the money, brother, right where we want it based on 1,000. Hell, last month we did 1,000. So we've done that times, 12 months in a year. That's think about it. That's not 12,000, but we put out a lot of fucking tunes. So we have tunes that are so vetted that we know how they should act. If they're off a certain amount, which is a spec, meaning like plus minus a certain percentage in terms of fueling and spark, we'll adjust. So as long as you, S550, Diego, as long as you get me good data back and forth, we can get you dialed in so good that you might not ever have to hit a dyno, because if you can give me good street logs back and forth, log it, we adjust, log it, we adjust. But let's say sometimes you log it and we think it's mint. Like I have a pro charger guy right now. I sent him the base file, and this is the base file where Pro Charger finally started providing a MAF sensor in the charge pipe. We have a tune for MAF sensor in the charge pipe on a Pro Charger car. So we just said, here you go. And the fucker was spot on from the first tune. So I said, give me another watt. And I moved up the rev limiter, and I'm like, okay, get me another watt. And I didn't do anything but move up the rev limiter, and I'm like, hey, here's your final tune. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's fucking mint. How's it feel? He goes, it's so good. It's so smooth. I go, yeah. I mean, I wish I could tell you I'm doing something special, but you know, the tune is so vetted that it took care of the issue itself. So I'm getting texted like crazy, so sorry. Let me turn that down. Okay, so a couple other guys. Zach Myers. Any proven blower cams worth the effort for 18 and 19s yet? No. Simple answer. No. S550 Mob says Gen 2 tune by Lund versus Gen 3 PBD tune, same mods, both the 85 and CAI. Do I stand a chance? Both manuals 373. Look, when it's like a cold air in the 85, it's going to be a driver's race at that point, you know. If they're tuning it really aggressively, like crazy timing and whatever, that's on them. We tune a different way, or maybe not. Who knows? But I think it's a driver's race. If all things being equal, the cars should make about the same horsepower. Honestly, it's just a matter of, you know, when the timing comes in, who has the better suspension setup. At the end of the day, for a lightly modded car like that, you're not going to see a 20 horsepower variable like at all. You're going to see probably 3 or 4 horsepower. So it's probably a driver's race. Andy Kozovic says, old Gen 3 will do a 10 rib 25% with, what the fuck did he just say? God damn it. Look, I got to read this right. Holy shit. He just said something. I was like, what? Old Gen 3? What the fuck? Hold on. Divyesh. Muscles thing. Okay, sorry guys. Let me get this squared away. Andy Kozovic says, old Gen 3 will do a 10 rib 25% with a 63 millimeter next year. Also, what do you recommend for more power, maybe bigger throttle body than the 67 or a PMAS DD on current? You can do a PMAS DD, but you got to make sure that it has a good shield or a good filter on it. Honestly, throttle bodies are one of those subjects that I get fucking amped up about because I went through it. The best throttle body monoblade that I have seen is usually the Whipple 132. That's why I retrofitted a 132 throttle body in the Fairmont with the Edelbrock blower. Okay, those are the only ones that I can like actually go, they're badass, get them. Anything else, Candy Bell 168 or VMP anything, look, when it comes to monoblades, I like the Whipples. Muscle Stang says, hey Alex, 2016 S550 with a Roush Phase 1 blower. My IATs are in the high 140 sitting in traffic. Is that bad? What can I do to help that? Nothing. Even if you have a VMP or basically, it's an AFCO. It's a fucking AFCO. It's an AFCO heat exchanger with twin fans. It's about recovery. If you're in traffic bumper to bumper and it's 100 degrees outside and your blower temps are fucking 140, big fucking deal. The moment you start to move, all of a sudden it'll immediately shoot back down to 120, 115 or something like that. I don't think that's a major issue. 160, okay, something's fucked. But 140, I wouldn't stress it in bumper to bumper traffic. The Psychotic one says, after last week's live stream, you laughed at my description of my Brent Speed tune. I blew 22... I blew 2200 on mods. Thanks a lot. See you soon for an E85. I just look. Certain things trigger me. Okay, so the way I read things, I go, "Wow, that thing's all fucked." But brother, we're here for you. We are here for you. We got you covered. Come over to the dark side. Look, at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says. The dark side is stronger and it wins, period. We are on the dark side. The Jedis are small. Dark side's a fucking machine. Has a fucking thing that kills planets. Fuck. Dylan Huff. 11 GT500, 25 upper, 75 wet shot. E85 or TVS? TVS. Fuck that stock blower. Gap Time says, what is the smallest pulley to run on a 17 Roush Phase 2 with FIC 1000s, VMP 67 throttle body on sweet 93 or 100 octane boost? 75 millimeter. 75 millimeter is pretty good. I mean, depending on how sweet the 93 is, I wouldn't go anything under a 75 millimeter, and depending on elevation too. If you're at sea level, 75 millimeter pulley is going to be pretty aggressive. So I would be careful, but sweet 93 or 100 octane with booster, 75 millimeter, going to be tits. Yeah, it'll do real well. PD Petification says, no question, just love your content. Thank you very much. Diego Arroyo says, guess on horsepower and torque for that setup after tune. Pump gas. I'm a street guy. Just wants to feel it from the time to time with more oomph. Now, thanks. Oh, shit, Diego. Now I got to go back and see your combo because I forgot. Okay, Diego. Gen 2 Coyote, Rush back. Gen 2 Coyote. I don't know, dude. When it comes to E85 and a Gen 2 Coyote with a Roush cap back in a cold intake, it's probably 430 wheel, 440 tops. Like, tops. Like 34 degrees, you know, that type of bullshit. It's going to be kind of crazy. Oh my God. Free tunes for life? Someone just, most dope 503 just put freeze tunes for life. Full auto GT with a bunch of gas and wrench signs says, Alex, what are your thoughts about Brett Barber ported 18 throttle body? No, let me just stretch because I'm going to piss off some people. I don't want any throttle body ported. I don't want any throttle body ported. That being said, Brett Barber is very good at what he does. So as long as Brett Barber doesn't slip with the die grinder and then, you know, makes a fucking huge hole and then opens up the area too much. Okay, think about it this way. Ford, the billion-dollar company, Ford, ended up, making, the idle angle and everything. It's very well calculated, The problem is, depending on who's porting it, they open it up. Let's say they disassemble it. They have to disassemble the whole motherfucker and they port it open. And then all of a sudden that blade angle now is allowing more air. Now it is up to me to make that bitch idle right. Again, holding the fucking bag. Will it make more power? Probably. Will it have the potential, listen to these words carefully because a lot of you guys are really stupid. Will it have the potential of having issues? Yes, potential. Do Brett Barber ported throttle bodies, have I had issues? No. But again, I don't want people porting any throttle body. At that point, why don't you just buy a BBK throttle body, a BBK 85 millimeter? Because that shit don't work. They don't make any extra. It'll probably make 3 or 4 horsepower, maybe. And then that's what varies on a dyno pull to pull, 3 or 4 horsepower. So how do you actually tell what the fuck's happening? It's really tough to co-sign on any of that bullshit, especially ported throttle bodies. Ported intakes all day, ported blowers all day because the MAP sensor does the work. But once you port a throttle body, and let's say now I have to remove idle air if it's 11 to 14, or lower blade angle on a 15 and up, or lower idle speed because now it's seeing more air and it's going, wait a minute, something's wrong. At this angle, I should be seeing this much airflow and I'm seeing more, and then spark gets fucky. Yes, that's the problem I have with modifying shit like that. Then we have to chase the issue. Okay, plus I have cookies. Someone said he has cookies. I'm down with cookies. Mike Vasquez. What's Mike Vasquez saying? He wrote a fucking book. Let me see. Mike Vasquez. Alex, 315 gears, gear swap versus converter for a 16 auto. Feels lazy down low on E85, long tube headers, off-road pipe. Ported 18, 87 millimeter, JLT, Lund 2, nothing else to add. What are your thoughts? Alex, streetcar, converter. Now, the gear swap might be cheaper because if you can find someone that has a 355 center section, it's probably $500 and you change it over in about an hour or two. And that'll be a kick in the ass. But I like the converter setup because you have an 18 manifold. So you then you can now bring the power band up quicker. So it gets into the power band quicker. And I like the 315 gears. I'm going to go with 373s on the red car eventually because it's NA. And I'm trying to do a budget build. But if there was no budget involved, I'd keep the 315s and put a fucking 8H converter in the motherfucker. Alex, I have a 2013 5.0. Okay, 5.0 Khalid says, Alex, I have a 1350 and it weighs 2960. How'd you do that? Sawzalled the motherfucker? It's got ported heads, cam, CJ manifold, 267, all the shit. Headers, PMAS, oh my god, it has everything. Alex, I already have a 2018 on the way to boost. What else should you do? I haven't seen E85 anywhere in there. E85. I mean, that's E85. 50 Khalid. Help us help you. Exactly. It's really tough when I have to kind of tell people go, hey, I bought it I bought it. I'm like, wait, what do you mean you bought it? Why didn't you ask me first? Oh, I bought it because it worked. He said it works. I'm like, okay. I loved your post about the straight pipe Coyote. Yeah, it was funny. Christian from Power by the Hour, the guest that I had on last week. By the way, he's great. He's great as a guest. I hope to have him on more regularly. He's very good. I just need to have a better setup here. I'm going to have 2 mics, 2 cameras. I want him comfortable because we were just yelling into the mic and it was just a free-for-all, but you guys loved it. It was like the most watched live stream as of yet. It was a lot of fun. Any tips on tuning F-150 Eco Boosts? Don't go crazy on Spark because F-150 Eco Boosts have a shitty intercooler the moment you turn up the wick and you turn up boost. So the intercooler, if I were you, I would upgrade the intercooler, make sure you run sweet fuel in it, and keep boost moderate, keep IAT low, and it'll make good power. But I can't give you like tuning tips, like, well, move the cams this way and bring this and that. No, I'm not going to do that. APOC447 says, what would be the ideal supercharger for a Gen 3 Coyote that will only see pump gas, no 85 available on the island? Anything, any of them, all of them. TVS. Under let's say like a stage 1 TVS at about 10 psi, a Whipple Gen 5 at about 10 psi, a Vortec or a Paxton or a Pro Charger, even a Pro Charger. As long as you keep it around 10 psi or 9 psi and on pump gas, the car will be pretty happy. Speaking of porting, Reese says, what about porting an 18 manifold? And he has 3 trumpets. Porting an 18 manifold is fine. I actually recommend it, and I do not need to tune your car for it. The MAF sensor will do most of the work. Cuban Coyote says, I made 485 wheel horsepower, full bolt on 85 on a lone tune, all motor dyno jet. That's badass, dude. That thing is healthy. Maybe you can gap homeboy, but that 10-speed, dude, that 10-speed makes up for a lot of the power, the power loss or lack of power. That little 10-speed seems to keep it in the right power band or right torque range, and it's just real happy. Coyote Weber carburetor conversion tune. Fuck out of here. Full Auto GT says, Alex, part 2 to my throttle body question. Porter throttle body or larger throttle body? Look, depending on your mods, I wouldn't get a bigger throttle body. Depending on your mods. The only time I suggest a bigger throttle body is on when you're forcing the air in it. When you're forcing air in it, I'd suggest a bigger throttle body, not necessarily draw through versus blow through. I think a blow through setup benefits more from a larger throttle body than a draw through, but I'm going to try to make a test to prove that. I could be wrong. Would having sweet fuel all the time give you diabetes? Yes. That's very good. Jason Fry says, Alex, are the issues with the 52-pound injectors during tuning on the DOB S197 S550 kit? What? Are there issues? No. A 52-pound injector is a Ford Racing GT500 injector. It's fine. Don Self says, is there a difference in tune strategy when D versus S shifting with paddles, but dyno in D is bad as mofo TVS 15? We make it so that when you're racing, it's all done in drive, D. We do not modify the sport anything because this is the problem with modifying anything in sport. You're just you potentially going down a rabbit hole, right? Oh, I want it to be quicker in S, and then I want it to downshift, and then I want it to this. Shut the fuck up. Race in drive. That's where we modify everything based on thousands of calibrations. And that's going to be your butt dyno is going to feel better. That's where the shift schedule is the best for racing or drag racing, even street racing. A lot of people say, well, the shifts aren't as crisp on sport. In sport than in drive. Right, because if we start manipulating everything in sport, again, that we're doing twice the work. Some people like the sport shift schedule. By and large, most people like the sport shift schedule. So they like it how it is. For us to modify that and make it feel just like drive, why don't you just put it in drive and drive the fucking thing and shut the fuck up? It's an automatic. So we tend to leave everything in drive, leave everything in sport stock, meaning all the torque reduction, all the bullshit, and then in drive we make it more aggressive. Ford Racing 312 says, hey Alex, what are your thoughts on doing just cat deletes instead of catless long tube headers? Again, opening another can of worms. I'd love to be able to make a test where I put on a set of free-flowing exhaust pipes and then put on a set of long tubes with free-flowing exhaust and see the difference. But guess what that's going to do? That's going to piss everybody off if it makes the same power. And the last thing I want to do is be responsible for that shit and bring negative press my way. So honestly, I wouldn't. Long tubes, in my opinion, are for guys that are boosted. Boosted guys, long tubes. Get that air out of there as soon as possible. NA, you'll be okay with free flowing pipes. Dark One S550. Hi from Sydney. Keep up the good work. If you crisp shifts, what is if it? Oh my God. Hi from Sydney. Keep up the good work. If you crisp shifts, what it to shift how you want. Drive a stick car. Lund for the win. Guys, I read that exactly as you wrote it. Joe Martin. Who remembers? All the tuning you could do is bump the timing and run good gas and a cooler thermostat. Believe it or not, even Fox Bodies had aftermarket tuning. Remember the PMS system from Anderson Motorsport? Remember that? That cool little thing you could piggyback off the bitch and the sucker would actually, you can tune it, injector pulse with, this and this and that. It was kind of cool. But yeah, back in the day, all you could do is run a CNL air meter for the right injector because it has a little thing that's pre-calibrated for the injector. You can bump the timing. You can mess with the TPS sensor so it idles good. The IAC, make sure the IAC is good. Some rockers, some pulleys, a throttle body, and a short belt. And you have an 1170 notch. Good shit. Roberto Figueroa. Did you hear about somebody putting up his foot in his mouth, totally misunderstanding the parasitic losses of the GT500 supercharger into the driveline losses and making an embarrassingly stupid video? Roberto Figueroa, do me a favor, send me a link to that, because this is the problem with Mustang YouTubers. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to call out names. I'm just going to say every Mustang YouTuber. Every Mustang YouTuber that I've seen, I don't want to say they don't know what they're talking about. I think they mean well, and I don't want to shit on their channel. I want them to make money, because that's 9 times out of 10, that's all they do for a living. See, my living comes from Lund Racing, and that's who I rep. That's who I am first. This is secondary. So I don't need this to take off. I have a job. So a lot of guys need to say just certain shit just to get play, and they get play. They get 200, 300,000 views, and I'm happy for them. But the problem is those views, if it's misinformation going down their way, then guess who has to account for that? The person who said it? No. The person who's tuning. Me, senior, junior, all. We're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, this guy said that. Well, why the fuck are you listening to him? So the people that do listen to me, I'd like to think, are a little more informed. They get on here and they ask pertinent questions. They get it. They just get it. And I love that. I love that somehow I've cultivated an audience that gets exactly what needs to happen in a Mustang. And you are less likely to ask me stupid fucking questions because for fear of the pushback. Cuban Coyote. What do I need to push 700 wheel horsepower nitrous once again? 700? You're the one that shoving 200 on the shit. Fuck. Look, if you're willing to blow it up, Cuban Coyote, you can do it. Fucking keep pilling it, and I'll keep lowering timing and adding fuel. But goddamn it, get boost, man. get a Paxton, get a anything, make 700. You are playing with fire. Not because I don't think it can do it. I just don't think the nitrous can be distributed evenly with a plate setup. Direct port, yes, but with a plate setup, it's a bad time. But Roberto Figueroa, let me know what you're talking about, because I want to be well-versed on the subject. I don't want to talk about something that I have not seen about a certain YouTuber putting his foot in his mouth about parasitic losses and all this bullshit. Jonathan Hernandez says, Hey, bud. I have a 1650 with an MT82 with a VMP Gen 2 kit, stock Shelby throttle body, which is a twin 60mm for those of you who don't know. And it goes into limp mode. Car keeps going into limp mode. Thinks it's a tuning issue? Or a bad throttle body. I don't know who's tuning it, but I have yet to see a bad twin 60 that had good TPS sensors. If the TPS sensors are legit and it's not tripping balls, it should be okay. The only thing that can really cause a limp mode issue is a throttle body issue. Even if and the MAF. If the MAF like falls off or disconnects. If you have bad injector data, it'll just run lean. Or if you have incorrect throttle data, it might just kind of wig out but still drive. But going into limp mode, there's usually something wrong with a critical sensor, and most of it has to do with throttle position. or airflow. So yeah, it's probably a bad throttle body, but I can't rule out the tune because I don't know who's tuning it, and I do not see how the tune is laid out. Jesus Rios dice Gen 2 NA with GT350 throttle body, man. Manifold. It just says manifold. Okay, Jesus Rios. Gen 2 NA with GT350 throttle body, manifold. LU47's auto 373. Any recommendation to go above 450 rev horsepower? He became Asian at the end of that. Dude, I don't know, Jesus. 450? I mean, my car makes 404. So to get another 50 out of that motherfucker, you better be running. I don't know. I don't think you can get another 50 out of it unless you port it to death and get some aftermarket cams and E85. So E85 aftermarket cams, Cobra Jet intake, maybe. Yeah, I think you could do it with like a completely different intake, completely different cams, and completely different fuel all day. So another $3,000. Fuck it, why not? Oh, great, good times. Don't fuck with Jesus. I know, right? Sorry, Jesus. I love you. I love Jesus. I can't afford a Coyote. Okay, someone just talking. Okay, let me go down here to the paid. There's a little tab I just found that has all the paid shit. Badass. Cuban Coyote says, so if I go direct port, how much more nitrous can I spray? It's not how much. Yeah, God damn it, Cuban Coyote. You're killing me. It's not how much more you can spray. It will be distributed evenly through each cylinder, and it'll hit so much harder that I bet you a 150 shot is going to shit your dick. You're going to shit your balls. Shit your dick and balls. Because it's going to hit a lot harder than a plate setup because it has to run its way through the runners and make its way through the combustion chamber. Direct port, it's going to be boom right there. You're going to go, holy shit, Alex, a 150 kicks my dick. So I'm going to eat your shit. There, that's my analytical advice. Great. 17 GT Roush Phase 2 FSC on 100 octane. What kind of horsepower porting the TVS unit? Okay, JLIR. Oh my God, your usernames are shit. Some guy asks 17 GT Roush Phase 2 with FIC 1000s, long tubes, PMAS, Whipple MB. What's an MB? What's an MB? OPGs on 100 octane. What kind of horsepower porting the TVS unit at? So I have seen some TVS units get ported and make another 20, depending on boost level. That's the thing. If you have 100 octane and 69 millimeter pulley, that bitch will make probably another 20. But you also got to port the lower, not just porting the upper. It's the lower that also has to get ported. There's a hump in the back. You got to, if it's a Gen 2 TVS kits, if you look at the porting, the actual porting of the lower intake, the intake manifold or the intercooler, they don't even match the heads. You know what I mean? So if I were you, I'd look into port matching everything, not just the head unit. Alexander Cadell, man, 404 with the 350 manifold in Jean Grey. I made that stock, but I'm also on a 15 manual transmission. Exactly, motherfucker. It's like another 20 horse for you. So yeah, on an automatic, you're going to see more parasitic loss. And if that guy, I'd love to see that link that he was talking about parasitic loss, because that was actually pretty funny. Okay, he said, so JLIRCS. Oh my God. The same guy that asked about porting the TVS said he had a 72 millimeter pulley. So yeah, I think it'll make 20 more, but dude, really, really look into porting the lower also. Comment at 637. Comment at 6 Zach H. Comment at Zach H, why don't you do the smart thing, and instead of asking me to look at the fucking comment, just re-comment the comment. What the fuck? Mario Islas. Islas is Spanish for island. 2012 Boss minor exhaust mods, McLeod's clutch, and the reason I say McLeod's because Christian Papa actually says that's how it's spelled. I don't care that it says McLeod, it says McLeod's. So from now on, anytime you see a clutch McLeod, it's McLeod's. So the McLeod's clutch, flywheel clutch, line Barton shift, the weight reduction only. If I get an 85 tune, would it be worth to get ID 1000s? Remember, the injector alone is not going to make any horsepower. It's the fuel. Will it be worth it? Probably not. LU47s are fine, but if you're going to go boost later and you want to buy the injectors once and you get a good deal on them, that's a good way to do it. Rickolas Cage says, YOLO douchebag. I don't know who the fuck that is. This is Alejandro Flores, bitch. I recently got a V6 auto convertible Mustang. I was looking for the second gear burnout. You're kidding, right? Like, you're fucking kidding. I don't think you make enough power to do a second gear burnout. You might burn up the converter. Chevy HS says, hey, I got my 18 intake running well. Thanks for the help. So what's going on with Lund? Okay, so the California question is something that you're going to have to ask Lund Racing in an official capacity. Nobody, understand, guys, nobody is doing business in California because you guys live in a state that sucks dick and hates modifying their cars or modifications, period. They're making it illegal for you to modify your own vehicle. They're stopping you in the middle of the fucking traffic to make sure your emissions equipment is legit. It's fucking Nazi Germany. Get the fuck out of there. So yeah, if you want questions on official company-wide bullshit, ask the company, not me. I paid you and you missed my question. Okay, 50 Khaled. God damn it. Now you know what needs to happen? I gotta scroll way the fuck up. And the people that are listening at work and the people that are listening in their cars or trucks have to then go, oh man, this guy's fucking, guys, understand. If I miss your question, it's just because there's so many and I'm only one guy. So it's not easy. So I'm going to look, and I even forgot your fucking name. I'm scrolling as I'm talking, and I forgot your fucking name already. Awaken Evil. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So many fucking questions. And look, I appreciate you guys paying for the question, and it's not a guarantee that I'll get to it. It's really tough to, that means I can't like talk and rant, So just re-ask the question. And again, don't pay to re-ask the question. Just flood my fucking chat with the question. Michael Hernandez, what exhaust did you have in the black car? Becha, do you recommend any particular axle back muffler? So the black car, after when it was running its best, it had just dumps and MagnaFlow straight through exhaust, like Magnapacks. And that bit sounded great with stock manifolds, off-road exhaust, and Magnapacks. The thing sounded like a grudge car. It was cool. Mooch55 says, So on-tune 10R80 D mode will be tuned, not sport. Oh my God, guys, I am reading it exactly like he wrote it. So on-tune 10R80 D mode will be tuned, not sport plus? Okay, so any automatic calibration, when you're going to go race it, it'll be on, do it in D. Do it in D. There might be some changes to sport, but sport by and large kind of stays the same. Okay, there you go. Sport cuts timing. Thank you. The Chech, which is Brandon. So in the shifts, you'll hear like a, like that little spark cut, where in drive, you hear, whoop, pam. That's your planetary exploding. Oh, I don't want that. Copy the comment before sending it and just paste it. He meant paste. How do I get a tune from Lund Racing? Smoking Nitos says, how do I get a tune from Lund Racing? You go to support@lundracing.com. You ask the questions. You say, yo, what's going on with this shit? How do I do it? And then Nardi or Tyler will take care of anything, and then they'll send you the proper links to get you tuned for your mods. If there's something we support, and we'll good to go. Matt G, I paid you and missed mine, but don't go back and look for it. It doesn't matter. See, now he makes me feel bad. See, I love that passive aggressive shit. I love you, Matt, but come on. You got to understand, man. There's like, when 50 of them come through and then I explain for like 2 seconds, there you are, Matt G. What's up, man? So I'm building this Turbo LS. How much power can half-inch lines and an AEM44 support? Should I get 1000cc injectors and okay, not running 85 and get some 1500s? Ask an LS guy, because I don't know what the fuck you just said. So it says, how much power can half-inch lines? I have dash 8. I think dash 8 is half inch. No, that's smaller. I forget how dash 8 correlates to inches. I had dash 8. I should have gone dash 10, but I think dash 8 was fine because the red car had dash 8 and I made 930 and didn't seem to be running out of fuel or anything. And an AEM 044 support. I don't even know. Should I get 1000cc injectors and be okay with not running 85 or get some 1500s? If you're building a turbo LS, how much power are you looking to get out of it? What size turbo? What's base fuel pressure? What fuel are you running? There's many questions that need to happen there. But honestly, when it comes to LS stuff, Matt G, I am out to lunch. I am a Coyote, and I don't want to say expert. I just know more Coyote stuff than not. I'm not well versed into anything LS because I am a straight male. A lot of people get bent, but the guys that get it, but other people get bent as fuck. Ricky Wilkinson says, when running a positive displacement and nitrous, should at one step down, one range colder plug, 2 steps colder than the stock? That for a good bet, for a safe bet, 2 steps colder is nice, depending on the shot. As long as you're not running a 200 shot. But if you're in like a 75 or 100, you can probably stay on the same range, but just gap it down a little tighter. But to be safe, you can bring it down a range colder, depending on the amount of nitrous you're shoving in there. Falcon SA. Again, guys, I am reading it like you write it. Does it worth to change my ported manifold to CJ? I have 10R80. Oh, shit. No. If that's all the information I have to go off of, no. Did anyone else get a t-shirt yet? Yes, they got their shirts. Don't worry. But I'm not giving away any shirts, man, until I catch up with the other shit. Look, to ship 3 shirts, pained me. I was sitting there at the post office going, fuck this shit. It just took forever. And I'm like, ugh. I need someone to, do it for me. And I just don't have the mechanism in place to do all that bullshit. Tuner Gallery says, Alex, Bone Stock 13 GT manual, 331 gears. What do you personally do if you have 4K to blow into it? Alex, Bone Stock 13 manual, 331 gears. Okay. Boss intake or 18 manifold, LU47 injectors, E85, long tubes, and some suspension work. That bitch will be an 11.7, 11.60 car all day. Stock, and a clutch. So a clutch, E85, LU47s, free flowing exhaust, and some suspension work and a tire. And you'll probably be in the 3s and you'll still have 1,000 left over to fuck with. Or save for another couple more months and buy boost. The TVS kit, they're fucking giving them away now. There's so many in the market. So you could just save, wait for boost, and just chill the fuck out, and it'll be badass. Or if you want to do the NA shit, E85, long tubes, 18 manifold, or a Boss intake, a tire and some suspensions. It'll be good. All right, I'm gonna get ready to get going, but before I get going, I wanted to ask you guys a question, because I have had this going back and forth with my friends talking about personal stuff. So I'm not big on giving you guys personal stuff. A lot of you guys that follow me, you don't know if I had a girlfriend, if I don't, if I did, anything. And I know some people are out there cringing about the subject that I'm going to bring up, but a lot of guys are urging me to talk about my dating life. Now, I hesitate to do that for the sheer reason that I don't think any woman would ever want to be a part of that shit, but I can talk in generalities as to my experiences, as to what I've done and stuff like that. So that's something that I've kind of gone back and forth on, and I might do another live stream, maybe just talking about that stuff, but I guarantee Coyote questions are going to just come into play, and I don't know if that's something that you guys want to see in particular. Okay, some people say don't do it. Eric Batchelor says don't do it. I'm kind of leaning towards no. Jake Lake, I didn't pay you, but you skipped my question. If you had to dock with Homeboy, I'm not even going to mention that fucker's name, or a Subaru, I like Subaru WRX fan, who do you choose and why? So Jay Lake says, if you had to dock with one guy or Subaru WRX fan, who would you choose for and why? Okay, everyone's saying don't talk about the dating stuff. Hell no, hell no, hell no. Someone says yes. Nope. Everyone says nope. Don't come out of the closet on the live stream. Okay, look, the fans say no by and large, then I'll just skip it and not even talk about it. I paid and you didn't answer my question. I think people are just saying that. Yeah, because I think I am basically known as like a tuner and a car guy. So I don't think you guys give a fuck about my personal and dating life. And that's kind of where I'm leaning towards, that I don't really want to talk about it. But my friends love the stories that I tell them. They think it's the funniest shit ever. But the problem is I can't talk to you guys like I talk to my friends, because I would never get a date again, ever. It would be all fucked up. Yeah, cars only. Poor boy says cars only. Okay, cool. So who would I dock with? The Subaru WRX fan or the other guy? Well, Subaru WRX fan's a white guy. The other guy, I don't know. I don't know what he is. He's got a mix. So, based on that alone, probably Subaru WRX fan, because statistically, white people have less diseases. So, if it's a matter of herpes or not, I'm gonna go by statistics and do it with a Subaru WRX fan, not the other guy, because I'm clean. I want to stay that way. Someone says, bring YOLO back and have him talk about it. What the fuck? Hey, it's the truth. Look it up statistically. Hey, Puerto Ricans too. Puerto Ricans are dirty motherfuckers. But, you know, I want to make sure that if I'm going to dock with somebody, they got to be clean, you know? So I'm going to go by statistics. That's all I'm going to go by is statistics. Okay, let me get a couple of the paid questions and get the fuck out of here. Alfredo Diaz says, thanks for all the info in a couple episodes ago. Switched from a Holly Sniper and a BBK throttle body setup to a Boss 302 and a stock throttle body. At Like the Sauce, if you would like to see my 86 4i Coyote swap, badass. So at Like the Sauce on Instagram, I'm sure. At Like the _ sauce. And we'll take a look at it, see what the deal is. Cuban Coyote says, power difference between direct plate and how much would I gain? I think you make, like, let's say, for instance, Cuban Coyote, on a 100 plate shot, you gain about 90 or even 100. You probably, on a 100 shot on a direct pour, you probably gain 125 or 120 because it's direct. It's right there, okay? And it'll hit much harder. It'll feel more potent. So it's more about the delivery than the power. Okay, we're back talking about E85 is his answer. 1370 says, built motor VMP Gen 2R 69mm. Saw a customer you had with a similar setup running mid-9s. Bullshit. Homeboy was running 9.1. That's Donnie Renfro. Donnie Renfro went 9.1 at 149 in a S197 6R80 car with a Gen 2 motor and a VMP Gen 2R. That literally, I cut my teeth on tuning on this car. That car literally brought me so far into the tuning world. I learned so much from it, and it stayed alive until he traded it in, so it didn't blow up. But, okay, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to hopefully auto swap equals the answer. Go to sleep, man. Exactly. Thank you, Rami. We're going to go to sleep. Going to be done with it. So no dating shit. You guys, it was a huge no, so we'll just keep it at that. I'm going to, again, try to get you videos depending on time. Hush Money is almost ready for the dyno, so I'm going to hopefully get you video on that. And if I get some time, I'll do some cold air comparisons this weekend. It all depends if I have a date or not. So thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you later.